السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه، ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له، ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, so this inshallah will be the last lesson about this course, marriage in Islam. In the previous lessons, by Allah's help, I managed to cover most of the issues regarding marriage. Obviously, as you know, brothers and sisters, this is a big subject, but I tried my best to cover the things that it is related to the current situation of marriage and the problems that we are facing in the marriage relation. And if you remember, the last three were about the divorce. Now, I spoke about that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, At-talaqu marratan, talaq is twice. And last week I spoke about al-khula. Now, I'd like to talk about الطلاق البائن بينونة كبرى, which is the talaq when you divorce your wife for the third time. Now, ayah 230 in Surah Al-Baqarah saying, فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ مِن بَعْدُ حَتَّى تَنكِحَ زَوْجًا غَيْرَهُ فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا أَن يَتَرَاجَعَا إن ظنا أن يقيما حدود الله وتلك حدود الله يبينها لقوم يعلمون. If he divorced his wife after the two divorced, طلاق مرتان, then by this talaq irrevocable. So it is finished. They cannot be husband-wife anymore. Only exception is if this woman, after she finishes her iddah, married to another person without a pre-planned thing, and lived with him as a wife. So they lived husband and wife. And there is no restriction in how long. They live as normal husband and wife. Then after that, for any reason, they divorced. In this case, after finishing the iddah of the new person, then the ex-husband can marry her again with a new contract and a new mahr. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put here a very important condition. And this condition is إن ظن أن يقيم حدود الله. If they believe that they will establish the boundaries of Allah and they restrict themselves to the boundaries of Allah. And this is very, very important condition. And unfortunately, you will not find many people, when they think even about marriage in itself, that the marriage in itself is to establish the boundaries of Allah. Because marriage will establish a family. And the family, or from many families, we have a small community, then a big community, then the whole ummah. So this part of the building of the ummah must be built on trust, on love, on understanding, and also on forgiving, on mercy. All these things must be there. Because when this important brick in the whole building of the Muslim ummah is healthy and solid, then the ummah will be healthy and solid. But if all these bricks are weak, unsettled, can fall at any minute, then you'll find the whole ummah is unsettled, unhappy, and the whole ummah will not be effective. So the word here, or the condition here in the ayah, is very important. And I'd like every couple, when they think about coming back together after the first talaq or the second talaq, or in this case, after the third talaq, then marriage, then divorce, then coming back, to think about this. Are we going to establish the boundaries of Allah through this marriage? Or it is for other things the people will say about us? Maybe financial issues, or for lust, for desires. Nothing of this mentioned in this ayah. What's mentioned in this ayah? That you need to think about establishing the boundaries of Allah. You need to think about this. Why I am reconciling, why I am coming back. Husband or wife, both of them, they need to do this. And we can see this part, hududillah, 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 mentioned many times in these ayahs. And we'll see it also in the coming ayahs, because there is another 4 or 5 ayahs talking about the divorce. So again, my advice to all those brothers, after the first or the second talaq, and in this case, think all the time, is this reconciliation, is this procedure to come back, will help to establish the boundaries of Allah or something else? Because when you think or when you do it for the sake of Allah, you will get the help of Allah. This is a rule. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Those who struggle for our sake, will guide them. So, and in Surah Al-Nisa, إِن يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا. if they seek reconciliation, Allah will give them the tawfiq. So think about this all the time. Not only in marriage, in the whole life. When you are doing the things for the sake of Allah, sincerely, Allah will never let you down. You have to do it with these two conditions that the scholars said. To be sincere and according to the Sunnah. Al-Ikhlas wa muwafaqat al-Sunnah. These two conditions, you have to think about them all the time. If it is to do with marriage, talaq, divorce, all these things, or anything in your life. So, before I go to other issues related to this ayah, I'd like to link it to the previous ayah. The ayah before said, الطلاق مرتان. So this means this is the Quranic way, the Sunnah way of the talaq. First talaq, give them chance to think. In second talaq, give them time to think. If after the second talaq they didn't come back together, then there is a discipline to this husband. There is discipline. You have to pay for your mistakes. You are just know this word, talaq, talaq, talaq. Okay. If you don't control your anger, if you don't control your mouth, your tongue, and for every mistake, every problem, divorce, talaq, finish. You have the time, the iddah. You lost it after the first or the second, then you have to pay for that. You have to pay for that in two ways. The first way, that this woman, if the first talaq happened and there is iddah, the iddah finished without coming back together, then this is what they call it ba'in baynuna sughra, the minor thing. She can marry another one. You don't have any priority. You can ask for her hand again as anyone else. And the same if there is second talaq. So, the first punishment, that you don't have the priority. You are not number one anymore. You are just one of these people. Secondly, you have to pay a new contract and a new mahr. Now, if this husband haven't been disciplined through the first and the second talaq, and maybe he paid another mahr, then comes this one. So he gave talaq for the third time. Now you need to have massive punishment. And when we talk about this massive punishment, we need to understand how the man thinks, especially when we talk about when this Quran revealed, we are talking about the Arabs, how jealous they are about their women. He's ready to die to defend his woman. He will not allow anyone to talk to her or touch her or do anything to her. Now, the big punishment is, if you divorce her for the third time, she's not your wife anymore, she can go marry anyone. So this wife who been with you for a time, we don't know, long or short time, another man will sleep with her. He will see from her what you saw. She's his wife now. And your feeling as a man, the jealousy, the ghira, all these things, what you'll do with it? This is a severe punishment now. And if you have children, they are young and they're still with the wife. Now they are with another one. You're not there. So they can see another man in the house. And think about all these emotional things which will go inside the new family now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He put this punishment, He did it to make these men think thousands of times before they say the talaq. I don't want my wife to be with anyone. I don't want to lose my children. I don't want to do this. So you have to be careful. Then, if you follow your desires, or maybe there's other reasons will affect the relation and you divorce her, then this is the solution. فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ مِن بَعْدٍ. She is not halal for him anymore until she marry another person. فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا, if that person divorce her, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمْ, there is no harm in them أن يتراجع, to come back again. إِن ظَنَّ أن يقيم حدود الله, if they think they will establish the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ, and these are the boundaries of Allah. يُبَيِّنُهَا, explain it. To whom? لِقَوْمِ يَعْلَمُونَ, to the people who understand. Now, let us talk now about the fiqh of this. The fiqh of this, brothers and sisters, that the man, as I said, he has two options. The first talaq, the second talaq. At-talaqu marratan. If he exhausted that, then after that, he divorced his wife for the third time, then his wife now, ba'in baynuna kubra. This is the major talaq, irrevocable. He cannot bring it back. There is no raj'a now. There is no time to think. They are finished. This marriage is finished now. What this will tell us? This will tell us that the Quranic way, the Sunnah way of the talaq, 1, 2, 3. So nothing in the ayahs here to say that you say it in one go. And nothing in the Sunnah that the Sahaba used to do it in one go. So what we see these days, that the people will say, talaq, 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 or they go to the Imam and say, what do you like to do? I'd like to divorce my wife. Okay. And I don't want to see her anymore. Okay. Talaq, talaq, talaq. Then I've seen certificates like this. So I divorce my wife, I divorce my wife, I divorce. It is in the same sheet. I've seen this. Now, did the scholars discuss this matter? Of course, they discussed this matter. And the scholars, with this talaq al-thalath, when you divorce your wife 3 times at the same time, there is mainly two opinions. There are different details, but I'd like to talk about the two. The first opinion that, yes, you can divorce your wife 3 times at the same time, and it will become irrevocable. Finished. And they are using the ayahs in the same surah that المطلقات يتربصن بأنفسهن 3 قروء, that those divorced women wait 3 times, and the other ayahs, and they are saying this is general, means that it is your right as a man. You can do it once, you can do it twice, you can do it in 3 times. If you do it 3 times in the same time, then this is your right. You can use this right. And as I said, this is not opinion of one scholar. So Imam Abu Hanifa with this opinion and other scholars. And this practice started from the time of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anh, when he noticed that the people, they are taking the divorce lightly. So in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, the 3 talaq used to be one, considered to be one. Then Umar al-Khattab, he noticed that the people, they are taking it lightly. Then as a punishment, he said, if you say it 3 times in the same time, so you said, Taliq, 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 I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, at the same time, then this is considered to be 3. Now, Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anh, when he established this, obviously he spoke to the Sahaba, he discussed that, and he applied this. But remember, all the fuqaha are saying this, that he said that as a punishment for the people who started to take the talaq lightly. Then the other scholars, as I said, Imam Abu Hanifa, Shafi'i, Malik, Ahmad, so they followed the same. They consider the 3, if you say 3 times at the same time, it is valid as 3. Now, Shaykh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah, and there are other scholars, they discussed this mas'ala again. And they said, we need to go back to the original. What's the original? The original is at-talaqu marratan. And what is the practice of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It is considered to be 1. If you say it 3 times at the same time, it is 1. Is it number 1? Number 2, the impact of this on the society. Now, when someone has a dispute, then he will say to his wife, and at that time, Taliq, Taliq, Taliq. So the life is finished. Then they start to find, which I'll talk about it in details, al-Muhallal, halala. So instead of making the life of the people hard, instead of destroying families, instead of making children suffer, and instead of making the people trying to find solutions for this, which lead them to haram, why we don't go back to the original, which is at-talaqu marratan, that is divorce. Now, Shaykh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, had a debate with the scholars at that time, and even one of the reasons that he was in the prison is this matter, that he is saying talaq al-thalath considered to be 1. Because most of the scholars at his time, they said, no, we consider it 3, 3, finished. And as you know, most of the Asian countries, they're still applying this. Now, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, in many of Muslim countries, they changed the law, they changed the rules. It used to be like this, that they consider if you say it 3 times, it's 3. They changed it now. I know this in Egypt, I know that in Saudi Arabia and all the Gulf, the same. In Jordan and Palestine, the same. In Syria, the same. So many Muslim countries, according to my knowledge, they changed the law. So if you have a Sharia court in these countries, and you do say to your wife at the same time, Talaq, 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 divorce, 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 no Sharia court in these countries, as I know, they will consider this as 3. They consider it as 1. So, my advice really to the husbands and wives, firstly, avoid this 3 times at the same time. Brothers, Allah gave you 2 options. Why you cut it to 1? Allah gave you these 2 options. Why you cancel the options of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? In other matters of your life, you'd like to take the first chance, the second chance, the third chance, if you can. Now when it comes to marriage and life and children and family, you'd like to cancel everything from the first chance. Why? And you're not doing something haram. If you are saying talaq once, you are not saying something haram. Yes, it is disliked. There is no religion likes the people to divorce their women. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he didn't like it. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, he put these legislations as the final resource. So if Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gave you 2 chances and gave you 3 months or 3 cycles to think, to discuss, to negotiate, to find solutions, why you are cancelling all of these things? No. Taliq, 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 finished. Then you go to this imam or sheikh. Yes, I divorced my wife, I divorced my wife, I divorced my wife. Also in the text, divorce, divorce, divorce. Finished. And that poor lady finds herself now divorced. She can't do nothing. So the first advice I say it to the brothers. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think. And instead of talaq, 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 think. Think about your wife. Think about your children. Think about your parents, your in-laws, your relation. Think about all of these things. And give on talaq. Then use the time to think, to reconcile, to have a new agreement, to find solutions, ask someone to help you. Then carry on, inshallah. This is my first advice. The second advice is to these brothers, imams. I know, for example, here in UK, there is many of the brothers and sisters, they are following the Hanafi madhab. And in this madhab, they are considering the 3 as 3. So my advice is 2 parts. The first part, brothers, imams, I know, mashallah, you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are the ones who initiating the marriage contract. I don't think when you initiate the marriage contract, you'd like this contract to finish because of a mistake, because of an anger minute, because of losing control. Teach these people, advise them, say to them, brothers, don't say the three. Don't say the three. Don't say it at all. Advise your people. And when they come to you and say, Shaykh, Imam, what shall I do? You say to him, okay, talaq, talaq. Say to them once. What are you losing? What are you losing? You are losing nothing. You are losing nothing. You are trying to save a family. And this for the sake of Allah. Do it for the sake of Allah. This is the first part. The second part I say to these Imams, yes, you are following the Hanafi madhab, but brothers, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala, did he establish the ideas just out of his head? The idea came to his head and done it? No. And Imam Abu Hanifa, he said, إِذَا صَحَّ الْحَدِيث فَهُوَ مَذْهَبِي. If the hadith is authentic, it is my madhab. So now, if you start to establish this opinion which saves the families, saves the children, and saves also these husbands from going to halala, then start to practice this fatwa. The fatwa of Shaykh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah. You like him or you don't like him. And again, Shaykh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah didn't bring it from his head. There is Quran clear saying, At-talaqu marratan. Allah saying this. Why you are insisting, no, we don't want to listen, we just say this. Now, when the Imams starting to practice this, brothers, sisters, we are going to save a lot of problems. And we are going to cancel this practice of Muhallal. Now, the ayah saying, فإن طلقها فلا تحل له حتى تنكح زوجا غيره. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah, He made a solution. And I explained why this solution. Now, the second marriage must be a clear marriage. Now, what the people started to do, they started to do something called al-Muhallal or al-Halala. And in this practice, what they do, they will go to a person and say to that person, look, this is what happened. We regret what happened. And I'd like to have my wife back. So we'll pay you some money. Marry her a day, week, then divorce her. Then after the iddah, she will go back to her. And the sad thing, brothers and sisters, this thing became a business. It is a business. I am talking here about UK. If you go to Google and search halala marriage, you'll find there are sites offering the service. I've seen a site offering the service saying, I'll do this for the sake of Allah. La ilaha illallah. So this man, mashallah, he's ready to sleep with these women and divorce them, marry them, divorce them, sleep with them for the sake of Allah. Allahu Akbar. How this word for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala misused now. And in a report by the BBC in 2017, the reporter, he interviewed the lady, and she said that she had problems. Then the husband said, Talaq, Talaq, no, sent her a message saying divorce, divorce, divorce. Then after that, they regretted. He regretted, and what they were to do, they started searching online and talking to people. Then they found someone, I think, offer 2,000 or 3,000. You know, they have to pay 2,000 or 3,000, and she sleep with him, and talking about how long she will stay with that person. Then the reporter, he done investigation and uncovered woman. She spoke to this man, and he said, you know, I am just managing this. I have my people, and they can do this. And there is price. How you like it? You like big wedding, and how long it will be. And he said some of them, these new husbands, they say, I'm not going to divorce her. And in one of the cases, he said, you know, I'm not going to divorce her, and they have to pay him extra money just to divorce her. This is the situation. The situation, I'm talking about UK, that there is a business. Now, let us see what the Prophet ﷺ said about this. Abu Dawud and Ibn Majah reported that the first husband, or the Muhallal, were cursed by Allah, and Ibn Majah calls the temporary husband a borrowed billy goat. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, لعن الله المحلل والمحلل. Allah cares both of them. The first husband and this husband who trying to finalize this marriage and make it legal. And there is hadith that if the marriage with the intention of divorcing, that the original spouse can remarry, is forbidden, haram. I'd like to say there is no scholar said that al-muhallal or muhallil is permissible. No scholar, they said this is halal. No one. Shaykh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah, he wrote a book. And in this book, it is, he called إقامة الدليل على إبطال التحليل. It's about 1,000 pages. In this book, Shaykh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, he put the evidence. He discussed the options or different ways of making this. what the scholars said about this and these things. So I'll just mention to you some of the quotes that Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah mentioned. Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, he said about a man, he married a woman, for making it legal for the ex-husband to marry her. And the first one doesn't know that, and even the woman doesn't know that. كان إنما نكحها ليحلها فلا يصلح ذلك لهما ولا تحل. If he did that to make it legal for the first one to remarry her, so this is not accepted and it is not halal. Ibrahim al-Nukhai said, if the first husband or the woman or the new husband intended to do the tahleel, to legalize it, فالنكاح فاسد, then this marriage is false. Sa'id Musayyib said also, أما الناس فيقولون حتى يجامعها وأما أنا فإني أقول إذا تزوجها تزويجا صحيحا لا يريد بذلك إحلال لها فلا بأس أن يتزوجها الأول. So he said, the people saying this new marriage cannot be valid until he sleeps with her. And I am saying that, Sayyid Hussein saying, if he married her without intention, then this marriage is valid. And then after that, if he divorced her, then she can go back to the previous one. And a man came to Al-Hasan al-Basri and said to him that there's a man from my people divorced his wife 3. Then he regret and she regret. So the man saying to Hasan al-Basri, so I thought I will go and marry her, give her mahr, then sleep with her as the man sleeps with his wife. Then after that, I will divorce her, so she will be halal for the first one to marry her. Then Hasan al-Basri said to him, اتق الله يا فتى ولا تكونن مسمار نار لحدود الله. Fear Allah, O young man, and don't be the nail of fire of the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الحسن إبراهيم النخعي, they said, إذا هم أحد الثلاثة بالتحليل فقد فسد العقد. If one of the 3, the first husband, the wife, the second husband, if they intend to do this for التحليل, to legalize the thing, then this contract is fasid, invalid. So there are many quotes that Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah mentioned here. And as I said, he discussed what the scholars said in this, and he came to the conclusion that Zawaj al-Tahleel is batil. And even in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, a man divorced his wife. Then after he divorced her and the iddah finished, she married another one. They just done the aqd, they done the contract. They haven't married yet. Then after she done the contract, she thought, oh, why shall I go to this man? Let me go back to the first one. So she went to the Prophet ﷺ and she said to him, I'd like to go back to the first one. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said to her, no, حتى تذوقي عسيلته ويذوق عسيلتك. cannot happen until you sleep together. Means that you have sexual intercourse. This is Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what he said to that woman. So, my advice really to those brothers who are putting themselves in this situation, zawaj tahleel, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't be, as the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, tays al-mustahar, the borrowed sheep, the borrowed male sheep. Don't be like this. Now someone will ask, but there is children, they regret. Understand that? There is children. They regret. We understand that. But you have the first chance. You have the second chance. Why you exhausted all of them? Why you just so are very fast? You hold the mobile, tick, 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 finished. The marriage is finished. Or, once I remember a brother, he said, oh, I was so angry. And I wrote an email. This Talaq, Talaq, Talaq. And after I send the email, I started, what I've done. Ya akhi, subhanallah. And instead of saying what I've done, wait. Don't write the email while you are angry. Don't send a text message while you are angry. There is no point. Calm down. Astaghfirullah. La ilaha illallah. Leave the room. Do something. So the conclusion is, Talaq al-Sunnah is the following. You divorce your wife while she's not in her menses, and you didn't sleep with her, intercourse with her when she is pure. And don't do that until you exhaust everything else. You can't do this the first time. This is Talaq al-Sunnah. During the iddah, think, try to find a solution. She comes back, then carry on in your marriage. You divorce her again, according to the previous conditions, then again you have the 3 cycles. If you use them and it doesn't work, then you have the chance to divorce her. If you divorced her for the 3rd time, that's it. The marriage finished. Don't go to this muhallil, because you are deserving the curse of Allah now. She's your woman will now be with another one, and this one who will do this is cursed. How can your life will be blessed if you started this life with a curse? I repeat my advice to the brothers again. Think many times before you say the word. Don't text the divorce while you are angry, or send an email, or say it. My advice to the imams, advise the people to use 1, 2 divorce. And I advise all those who are doing the halala, fear Allah. You are doing something against Allah and against His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have Questions, charity question. What is more important, to build a masjid or feed the poor? What is important? Building a masjid is very important, and feeding the poor. I noticed that some people trying to use this, saying, instead of building a masjid, go and feed the poor. In Islam, these things, it's not like this. Some people, they don't like the masjid to be built. And they are trying to use feeding the poor instead of building the masjid. What I'm saying, feed the poor, build the masjid, look after your relatives. And I remind those who are asking this question, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in many ayahs, not ayat Surah At-Tawbah which took إنما الصدقات والفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in many ayahs, when He spoke about giving, He didn't mention one category. He mentioned 5, 6, 7, and in Surah At-Tawbah He mentioned the 8 categories. Now when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that sadaqat to these, did He put them in this order that, oh, if you give the poor, don't give Ibn Sabil. If you give Ibn Sabil, don't give Fi Sabilillah. If you give Fi Sabilillah, don't give those who'd like to free themselves. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the 8 categories. This means that you can give this. Allah ta'ala alam. If someone donates sadaqah to a masjid, can that masjid use it for janazah fund? If it is sadaqah, yes, you can use it. If it is zakah, no. It must be used for the purpose of the zakah. I am an elderly woman who has a variety of health conditions: diabetes, blood pressure, asthma, Parkinson, and I have to take variety of medication throughout the day for all these different conditions. My GP has advised me not to fast, as it's not good for me. Do I still have to fast? The simple answer, no. You only have diabetes and you need to take medications, especially for those who are in insulin, that you have the permission to break your fast. I know I am diabetic, but alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, so far I can manage. But I know other people who are taking insulin, they cannot manage. So they cannot fast. They need to take insulin certain time, maybe twice or more, certain units. So it's difficult. So in this case, you pay the fidya, which is different in many places. So here I think in the masjid it is £3 for that. If you pay more, obviously, this is. I need to take blood thinning pills every morning and night. I can't take without fluid. Fine. Is that against protocol for Ramadan? I have conflicting feedback about it. Now, if you are taking it in the morning, I take aspirin, for example. So I take it once in the morning with the sahur. If you take it, you can take one with the sahur and one after the iftar. If you can do that and you are safe, alhamdulillah, then carry on in your fasting and there's no problem, inshallah. If you have to take it for example, at 8 in the morning, then it will be a different story. So the best thing is to consult your doctor, the nurse who are looking for case, and if they advise you, no, you have to take it at 8 in the morning and 6 in the evening, then obviously you cannot fast, then you have to pay. Brothers and sisters, you know that in Saudi Arabia today, they said they were not able to observe the moon tonight. So this means that tomorrow is the 30th of Sha'ban. So we are expecting now that Jumu'ah, Friday, will be the first day of Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. This will be announced tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. So during Ramadan, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, I will be with you in different reminders, around 7 in the evening, inshallah. So please tune into Luton Center website and the YouTube channel, so you can watch these reminders. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this whole thing, coronavirus, will finish and we'll go back to the normal life. Jazakumullah khairan for listening and watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.